Is it recording in progress? Okay, Rabotai. Baruch Hashem, Hagi Azman, Hagi Aleinu Tova. We're starting now, volume 22 in Hilchot Shabbat, volume 21. I'm sorry, 21 of the Tzurba Abonon. We are on page 23. We're on page 23. So you're already starting the first year. You're already in 23 pages in, Baruch Hashem. So you're not starting from page 1. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, he has a space. All right. We are now going to go into the Indian, into the sugya of making a ohel, creating a tent on Shabbat. More likely, not just a tent, but a canopy, umbrella, a horizontal covering. Okay, pay attention to my words. A canopy, a horizontal covering. All right, that's considered making an ohel.
What's horizontal?
Horizontal is this way. Vertical is this way. When a person stands this way, he's vertical. When he's laying down, he's horizontal. This is באנגלית. Vertical is standing. That's why I call this the vertebrae, right? The spine is called a vertebrae because you're vertical. That's what makes us men, right? We're able to stand straight, whereas animals are always bent over. Okay, so they're always in a horizontal position. That's why when you're sleeping, right? When you're sleeping, you're horizontal. You're more attached to the ground. More of your body is attached to the ground. You're more of in a behemoth connection to the ground. A person is when he's standing. He's omed. He's further from the ground. Only his feet's on the ground, right? Everything in his body, he is now straight up. He's vertical. So it's a big difference. Now, when we're talking about building the ohel is a horizontal canopy covering over. Now, let's take a look. Source number 1. Says Masechet Shabbat the Gemara, an ohel keva, making a permanent ohel, lo yaseh, don't do it. And if a person does it, hayav hatat. Okay? So if he did it b'shoigeg, he's going to be hayav hatat. Right. If he did it b'mezid, then it's going to be hayav skila. You tell the guy, b'shogeg, the guy Shabbat.
לא יודע שזה שבת.
הוא יודע שזה שבת, והוא שוכח שזה אסור.
הוא לוקח גרביץ' בגדול כזה, יורד גשם, הוא שם אותו על הראש, אסור.
Now, right. It says Ohel keva. That's the doraita. The temporary, we're going to see, temporary is going to be the Rabbanan issue. Okay, so Rabbi Gabriel said a very good point. Rabbi Gabriel said, it says Ohel keva, permanent. Right? An arai, a ohel arai is going to be the Rabbanan. We're going to see that shortly. Okay, let's see the Rambam.
Wait. What ohel keva? What ohel keva?
Permanent.
I understand. מי בונה בשבת אוהל קבע?
למה לא? מה הבעיה?
לבנות אוהל קבע?
No. He's building. He's making a...
כל אוהל...
Listen, you go...
Whatever he's building.
Listen, you go to Walmart.
We're going to see, by the way.
You just
We're going-
open, tac.
We're going to see it's...
כל אוהל הוא לא קבע. כל אוהל הוא לא קבע.
No. Take a look at the Rambam. The Rambam says, Ha'oseh ohel kavua, right? Person who makes a tent that's kavua. Arei, they told us, okay, so there is that's a kavua. So the Rambam as well. Okay, now we're going to have to define, we're going to have to make a definition, a hezber, to explain what is a ohel. What is considered a tent?
Right.
How much of a canopy, how much of a horizontal covering is considered an ohel? So we have the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat. Kuf Lamed Het Amud Beit.
שמואל.
אמר שמואל משום רבי חייא. קהילת חתנים, מותר לנטותה, ומותר לפורקה, right? He's allowed to spread it out, and he's allowed to dismantle it.
לא, לנטות את זה.
What does this mean? To spread it and to take it off.
I think on the bed that way.
Right.
On
So
the
very
bed.
good. So here we are. Kuf Lamed Het.
Maybe-
Here's the art scroll. Gemara. And here he shows you, this is what we're talking about. Kil Hatanim is a bride, is a canopy over the bed.
Over the bed.
So the B, as a Shmuel Mishum B'Chiyah says, I'm allowed to put this covering over the bed on Shabbat. I'm allowed to take it off. Meaning, it's not Ohel. It's not creating an Ohel.
All right,
You
all
have,
right.
you have a roof,
You're making a roof.
but because you have a roof on the top of it.
So why you put it? What reason you have? to
No,
put
you
it?
said on the top
בשביל
of the bed.
השמש. בשביל השמש. בשביל השמש.
On the top of the
It's
bed.
not, hold on. You're saying there's a roof already existing.
יש לו...
We're not talking about that case. That's going to come up later. The Gemara is not talking about that case yet. He's right. If you have already an existing roof, you could be Mosef on the roof. We're not talking about that yet. At this point, he's saying you're allowed to spread it and you're allowed to take it off. So now the Gemara comes and Amrav Shesha Reder up. Idi lo'iminan ela. This is only said when she'em begagat tefach. Asura. This is only said when there's not a tefach.
Talking about the height.
If you stand
The
it
height.
up,
The height.
No, the horizontal part.
Yeah.
The horizontal part, the covering has to. If it's less than a tefach, no problem.
to where?
If it's a tefach, it's a problem.
From where to where? It's right.
The tefach, the covering on top. So here's the bed, right? Here's the bed, right? So here's the bed, the head of the bed, the foot of the bed. This top over here, this top part, if when you spread it out, it creates a tefach of a horizontal cover, then you've created an ohel. So, exactly. So Shmuel says that, so Rav Shesha said, when Shmuel said you're allowed to open it, he's saying that the top part is less than a tefach. Okay?
So why they need it if it's less than a tefach?
Okay. Now, then he says, Vishti. Rashi says, by the Rashi says all your questions. He says it's so small. Who has such a canopy? So he says it's decorative. He actually wants to say there were a few small ones on the top. Let's not get there right now. Let's first understand what Rav Sheshet says. It says V'chi ein begaga tefach nami lo yamrinan. We also, when we said it doesn't have a tefach, we also didn't say this. Elo she'en befahot mishlosha samuch legaga tefach. Aval yesh befahot mishlosha samuch legaga tefach asur. Oh, what are you saying now? He's saying as follows. You know, you have a principle of lavud, right? Lavud, which is what? Less than 3 tvachim, it's still connected to the same part, right? In the sukkah, when we build a sukkah, you say if you have tvachim in the middle, it's less than 2 tvachim, the wall is still there. So I can start less than 3 tvachim from the bottom, and then I put 7, right? And I'm good. And I have 10, right? So says Rav Sheshet. So guess what? You have to make sure this tefach is not only on the top is less than a tefach, but 3 tvachim down, it also doesn't create more than a tefach. So take a look right here in this example right here. So here's the diagram. Okay, here's the diagram. I'll show it to the camera in a second. You see, this is the first 3 tvachim. So within the 3 tvachim, there cannot be a tefach.
Very narrow.
Yeah, very, very narrow. Yeah, I'm gonna show it on this side. Okay, so here's the diagram. So within these 2 tvachim, there cannot be a tefach of a what's it called? Of an ohel. Because even though you're looking up here, you have to remember that lavud is within the first 3. So here's the picture, Rabotai, those who are watching online. So we're looking at this picture right over here. I'll bring this up closer. So you see that vertical arrow where it says 3. So within those 3 tefach, nowhere in there can be a tefach horizontal ohel. because otherwise you're creating an Ohel. So that's what Rav Sheshet says as well. Okay?
So tefa this way or that way? They're wide?
This way. But within 3 tvachim. So within 3 tvachim, from here till here, there cannot be a tefach. Tefach wide from either here to here, that's going to be considered an Ohel. Okay, but now, then the Gemara says, then the Gemara says, and you see it's in parentheses here in the Tzurba's source number 3 on page 24 that we're holding in. Then the Gemara says, "V'lo amaran ela she'ein b'shifuah tefach." We said this only when there's not a tefach beneath its slope. Aval yesh b'shifuah tefach shifu'ei ohalim ke'ohalim damu. So now we're saying even less space. Now we're saying
it has to be like this.
now we're saying that the sides of the Ohel is considered like the Ohel. And therefore, there cannot be a tefach on the whole thing.
Exactly.
So from the middle to the side cannot be a tefach. Not only the 3 tvachim on the top, all the way down, there cannot be a tefach. So you're talking about a really small bed.
Yeah, so this
Or a really small canopy.
No. So this is not really canopy. This is not Khatam V'Kala canopy. What they did.
So Rashi here,
take
take a look at this diagram here.
Canopy.
He says that Rashi says that we're talking about there's multiple of these small ones on the top. It's like over and over again small ones. Yeah, on top, a bunch of small ones on top. So each one's less than a tefach, and it's like that. That's why Rashi says that. Rashi says it's decorative or something like that. For our understanding of the halakha right now, we saw a few things. Number one, we have to pay attention. Tefach seems to be the definition of an ohel. Number two, you have to pay attention to lavud. And number three, we said the sides are considered like the top. By the way, that is a machloket in the it's not a machloket, but it's rather there are different versions.
You mean the whole?
Yeah, the slope. The inclines of the tent are considered like the top, like the tents. Now, there is different versions, different gersa of how to learn this Gemara. In fact, Tosfot says there are some. Look at source number 4. V'yesh mefarshim she'ein b'shifuat tefach b'gova yud. So says Tosfot, we never have a wall that's a tefach. In order to be a wall, you have to have 10 tvachim. So some understand this Gemara, the shefua, the incline has to be 10 tvachim. Very good. Right? That's what he writes over here. The shefua tefach, emushim ad limit go yud, the lo chashav oil. Because the shchicha repair kama de sukkah that we find in Masechet Sukkah. Right? Rav Yehuda said, mutar lishan bekilan hatanim, av b'sheish legag, behu she'ena yud tvachim. Why are you allowed to sleep in this canopy bed under the sukkah? And it's considered the sukkah because it doesn't have 10 tvachim. So says Tosfot, maybe actually the right girsa is the side of the wall has to have 10. The incline of the roof is 10, not 1 tefach. Okay. Now, but he says the ein nira liri, and the Ri doesn't agree to this, right? The vadai, they said nahi the gabi sukkah lo chashiv ohel. Maybe you cannot compare what's considered a tent by the hilchot of sukkah to the halachot of Shabbat. Mihu legabe Shabbat hashiv ve'esirim. Perhaps by Shabbat it will be considered an ohel, even if it's less than 10 tvachim, and therefore would be asur. Now, says the Biur Halacha, and the Biur Halacha writes, the Torah Shabbat, right? In the Torah Shabbat, katav zelashono v'amchitzot tzrichot sheyu gavehen yud tvachim, right? Or zayin or mishu upachos megimel tvachim in the aretz ad kam l'shona ve'emet lo niskar sham bebet Yosef v'leyo dati borer. He says, according to his humble opinion, it's clear that even though a wall is normally defined as 10 tvachim, with regards to making an Ohel on Shabbat, all you need is a tefach. Ta'afilu b'mechitzot ketanot shebeketanon kegova tefach asuru chachamim bazeh. So says the Bir Halacha, like the Tosfot brings from the Ri, that when it comes to Ohel on Shabbat, for constructing Ohel on Shabbat, you don't need Yud Tvachim. You don't need to be 10 Tvachim high. As long as there is a Tefach high, and you make an Ohel on that, that's already considered Asiyat Ohel b'Shabbat, and that's Asur. So I'm going to read to you now outside of the Tzurba Rabbanan for a moment. Rabbi Nachshon in the Laws of Shabbat, beautiful Sefer Hayei Olamim, and he likes to summarize a lot of the halachot, and he writes over here as follows: to be considered an Ohel Kavua, an Ohel must have an area of at least 1 tefach. The top has to be at least 1 tefach, and it must be elevated at least 1 tefach above the area that it covers. So what that means is, as long as there's a tefach off the ground and there's a tefach on top, you have now made a Ohel Deoraita on Shabbat, and this person will be Hayav Hatat. Tefach above the ground and a tefach horizontal on top.
What about all this kids toys?
That's very important. We're going to see.
No, because they are not. זה לא עומד. זה דבר שלא עומד.
No, 100%. Kids have to be trained that if they're building toys, you know what happens? The kids love to play forts. Right? When they make forts on Shabbat, they put the chairs together, they put the couches together, and then they throw a blanket on top. I'm sorry. They throw a blanket on top. What happens? They just made an Ohel on Shabbat.
Yeah,
Doesn't make a difference. Go to Rabbanan, it's asur to make even temporary. We'll get into that. That is a mahloket of what you have to do. Okay? And Hamavad is actually machmer, and not as mekel as the other. It's brought down in halakha. It's brought down in halakha. We'll see it. We'll see it. I'll mention the hat one for you also. Yeah. There's some people who have a hat that the brim is tefach.
Mexican.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it.
If you look about what kids they do, he said it's nothing.
No, we're going to see that when it comes to kids, you're going to have to teach them. Anyone who's a gil chinuch already, from the age of chinuch, you're going to have to tell them not to make Ohel.
It's not.
We're going to take a look. We're going to take a look. We're going to take a look. Okay. I just wanted to get the first part clear. In order to be considered an Ohel, a tefach above the ground, tefach height, tefach horizontal on the top over it, that is an Ohel. That's so far the first definition that we have for Ohel. Okay. Let's move on. We're now on page 26.
These magnetic plates for kids that will be building boxes with them.
The magnet tiles.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. They can build, whether you can play with magnet or not is another question. It's better to stay away from playing with magnets on Shabbat. We'll get into that at a different time, but it's better not to. The kids are playing with it, it's one thing. But if you can really train them not to, it's better not to. And then if they are, even are playing with it, you'll have to teach them that they shouldn't make an Ohel. Shouldn't make a tefach high and a tefach over. Because then you make an Ohel. No, it's not. But take a look at Rabbi Ribiyat Sefer on 39 Melachot, where it talks about magnet tiles, and it's better to refrain. Also, yeah, he talks about using magnet toys. Not so new. It's not so new.
100%. I remember the sticker was magnet tiles about 5 years old.
What?
What are you talking about? Long time.
Magnet tiles. It's around at least 15 years, at least, to my counting. Okay, now let's talk about a temporary Ohel. Okay? All right. The first thing is, we know that the Chachamim made an Isur on an Ohel Arai. Okay? Since the Deoraita is creating a permanent Ohel, Chachamim would, in order to make a Sayag with Torah, they say a temporary also. Now, page 26. Look at the Gemara. Masechet Shabbat Kuf Chav Hey, source number 6. Amar Rabba Bar Hana Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Hakol modim שאין עושים אוהל ארעי בתחילה ביום טוב, אין צריך לומר בשבת. Everyone agrees you're not allowed to make a temporary ohel, definitely you're not allowed to make it, not on Yom Tov, and definitely not on Shabbat. And lo nechliku ela lehosif. They're only arguing if you can add to an ohel. Okay, if you can add to an ohel. We'll see what this means. So the Ezra, and Mosifin b'Yom Tov, and Tzorchim Shabbat. The Ezra holds you cannot add to a ohel, not on Yom Tov, not on Shabbat. The Chachamim omrim, and the rabbis say Mosifin b'Shabbat, and Tzorich lomar b'Yom Tov. Okay, so it comes out this Gemara teaches a very important principle. Number one, an ohel arai is also the Rabbanan. Number two, Mosifin, an ohel according to the Chachamim. There's a Gemara.
So what is Mosifim?
Okay, so let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
Extension.
Source number 7. Now we're in the Gemara in Eruvin. The Gemara in Eruvin, Kuf Bet. Amaral tells us. Shlach Rami Bar Yecheskel Rav Amram.
Oh. Can you open for me too?
Name Allah. Mar Mahalan Mili Ma'alita Damar Tlam Mishmed Rav Asi B'chifi Darab. Tell us good words that Rav Asi taught about the arches of a boat. The arches of a boat. Okay? Take a look on page 27 on the bottom. You got pictures.
Yeah.
All right, here we are on pictures.
That's a cover.
Okay, so this pictures come from the English Oral Lam edition of the Mishnah Berurah. And here he has pictures. So you have here arches over the boat.
Yeah, we had the picture.
Yeah,
I'm just going to put it on the camera so when the cheer is watched online, they have the picture. They might not have the book. Okay, so you have these arches. Tell us some halachot about these arches.
This arch, what
We
is
had
it?
it. Shatot.
You learn a language, You're going to come out very good in English after this class. Okay, so you have these arches.
He just came from Israel.
He says, "Bizman sheyesh bahen tefach." If the arch has a tefach
This way.
horizontally, okay, so the width of that arch has a tefach, okay. Inami ein bahen tefach ve'ein ben zeh lazeh shloisha. Right? Let's say there's not one tefach in one of the arches, but rather they're all close to each other. They're in within 3 tefachim. So using the principle of Levut again, right?
Right here, right here.
No, I'm not talking the height, the width of the cover, the canopy. Okay.
Not the thickness of the wood.
Yes, the thickness of the wood, but not the height. The thickness of the wood on the top. Okay.
Between
On
one.
the top.
And between one and another, there's less than 3 tefachim. Okay, so they're all connected, right? Principle of Levut.
The pipe.
So what happens now? Lamachar mevi. What can he bring? He can bring. How do you say that? Machatzelet. What is that?
Machzelet.
Machzelet. Or parasalein.
Yeah.
He can bring a mat and he can spread it over it.
Against the sun.
Why is that? What would be the principle? He's not making a ohel. He's mosifin. He's adding to it.
They're mostly.
Is it already yesh lo ohel? It's already ohel. There's either the arch is a tefach already, or the 3 arches that are not a tefach, but they're within 3 tefachim with each other. They create a halachic ohel. So now I can go ahead and put a mat on it and mosif the ohel, and it's not a one. My tama mosif al ohel arayhu ushaper dami, and it's fine.
זה לא הרי.
No, he's saying the plastic. The arch. The arch is not alright.
The Gemara holds that it is alright. So we're gonna have to define what's alright and what's.
Oh, because you can put that machzelet and take it off.
The arches itself, it's saying that they're alright.
The machzelet is alright, but
No.
the arch is not alright.
No, mosif al ohel arayhu. That's saying that the arches itself are alright.
So
We're gonna have to understand what arai and kavod, what's the differentiation between them right now. Let's just continue the
the
Gemara.
way the picture
Now.
shows, it's not alright.
Why not? Maybe you can take off those arches. Maybe they're come on and they come off. Maybe they're not there permanent. Okay. The Gemara says further that Rav Huna he had certain rams, okay, animals that needed some shade during the day and required ear at night. So he wanted to cover them, right? So he became before Rav. Also the Kami the Rav. He came to Rav. So he told him, go roll up some mats, but leave a shire but tefach. And leave one tefach out. Okay? Leave one tefach flat. Leave it out. Okay? And then on Shabbat, when it's daytime, you can be mosif. You can add the rest of it because you already have an ohel. You have the tefach there. Okay? And then it'll be fine. So it comes out from this Gemara in Masechet Eruvin is that if you have a part of the ohel there, which is a tefach, we already defined the ohel being a tefach. So if a tefach wide there, then on Shabbat you're able to extend it.
So I have in my the outside I have
Awning.
I have an awning, yes. I have a wooden awning. Each wood is more than a tefach. Okay, so now it's no problem. I can put anything I want in Shabbat on the roof.
Where is this
It's
room?
mosif. It's in my backyard.
Edek.
The deck.
So you have on the top.
It's for my sukkah, so it's there.
כמו פרקולה.
So from what we're reading, that seems to be okay. Let's take a look at the Shulchan Aruch.
So I can put something on that. אם יש
What?
להם איזשהו משהו כזה, שם משהו, אני רק מוסיף.
או גשם.
What's the thickness of the
We have to have a tefach. You have to have a tefach of an ohel. So if the beam is thick, that it's a tefach, then you already have, all you need is one, and then you can add the rest. If they're less than a tefach, but they're within each other, within 3 tvachim, principal levud, and you add them together, and you have a tefach ohel. It's to get to that tefach. That's the difference. Either you have it alone, or you have it. Yeah.
אתה בונה חדש.
And if it's less than a tefach, then you need to have a few in each other, within top of each other, to get to that tefach. Yeah, it's already all right. The Shulchan Aruch writes,
It's more umbrella.
Could be round or it could be flat point.
Eitem, שתוקעים ראשן האחד בדופן הספינה, בחופן ראשן השני, בדופן השני של הספינה, right? So the wooden beams, one end is fixed to one side, and the other is bent over to the other side.
Yeah.
And you can put a mat over it for the shade. If you have a width of a tefach, or if you aim berachvan tefach, as long as in between each other is not more than 3 tvachim, so chashive oil to be considered an oil. Umutter lefrois aleim b'shabbat machatzelet. The havi le tosefet ohel arai b'shari. Okay.
The potential. It's a very good pattern.
All right. Let's take a look now. The Mishnah Brura. Mishnah Brura. Source number 9, page 28. Mishnah Brura says, "Davka la'asot ohel arai mitchila osur." You're not going to make a ohel arai on Shabbat. Aval im naseh kvar, if you already made it, meaning before Shabbat, mutter lo haisef alav, you're allowed to add to this. Ubazeh kibbut sheyeh be'etz echad roicha b'tefach, dehu shir oil, or sheyeh pachad megimel tvachim ben zeh lezeh dehave shir levud, dehave kimo eitzim mechuborim yachad b'shir gimel tvachim, chosh oil mikvar. It's considered that it was already an ohel from before.
What is shir levud?
Shir levud is 3 tvachim, within 3 tvachim, it all connect. Right? Like we said by the sukkah.
What's the word of levud?
The etymology of it, I don't know.
לבוד, כלומר, מחובר. קרוב אחד לשני. ברגע, זה כמו מגנט. אם זה קרוב, אז כאילו אתה מחשיב כאילו זה אחד.
בממשכן למדו את זה במשכן.
All right, take a look at the Orchot Shabbat. the Hot Shabbat in source number 10. So this is a contemporary posek, and they write as follows. Very important. Yeladim she'egiu lechinuch leish laziram sheloi lefrois, that they shouldn't be putting out blankets to sit underneath it. Why? Even if there's no walls to it. Vim also can, and if they did do it, and you tell them, what'd you do? Let's start the oil hazeh. You're not allowed to take it apart now. Okay? Because they made oil, you're not allowed to be sauté the oil. Okay? So you got to teach children not to play forts on Shabbat, not to make spread a blanket. 6, 7. 6, 7 is already guilty.
So he walks under the table, it becomes Ohel for him?
No. Very good. We're going to get there. We're going to get to the table and the folding chair and all that other stuff. You're right. I'm opening it. I'm making oil. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay? We're going to get there. And he writes further. Kids who play with building blocks such as Lego should be warned not to construct a toy house or any other enclosure that contains a roof and an ear space of a tefach, right? So if it's a tefach height and a tefach cover, you're now created an ohel on Shabbat. Okay? And if they did it, you're not throwing the talit over. We're going to see that. We're going to see that. The Yalkut Yosef deals with that. Okay. We're going to deal with that. The Yalkut Yosef brings that. Oh, that's the next one right here. Take a look at the next source. Source number 11. Take a look at source number 11. Page 29. Source number 11. Ma sheyesh nohagim b'simchat Torah sheporsim talit al rasha yeladim ketanim. Right? They do kol na'arim, whatever you want to call it, right? Hatan me'ona. We bring everybody up. All the children come over. That's after all the children already went up and got an aliyah, right? Now, hey, come again. All right, so everybody's standing under there, and they spread the talit. It's not considered making an ohel arai.
So
Why is it not considered ohel arai? Here he doesn't say it, but in the English edition, he brings a reason why it's not considered an ohel arai. Wait. Let me read it.
It says Hanach Lahem L'Israel. Sheyesh Lahem Al Ma Sheyismochu. If it's okay, they don't have to say Hanach Lahem L'Israel. No.
So it says you set it up before Shabbat.
Here, no. Here we read it. Let me read it to you. Here we are. Okay, he writes as follows. Because he writes over here, I'll read it in English. Okay, here. Since they're holding it in their hands, it's not considered ohel when it's being held by the hand. That's what he wants to say. And also because it's not meant, and then he brings another reason. Okay, so he writes, and I'm not doing it to create an ohel. Why am I throwing that talent above the kids? Not to make it an ohel. I'm doing it the kavod. This is a minhag for honor. So it's mutar. That didn't cane if you look kishchal yom tov b'Shabbat. So even if Simchat Torah is on Shabbat, you can throw over the talit. That's from 2 reasons. Number one, it is not being set up anywhere. It's not being put and placed. It's being held by people's hands. Not considered even the ohel, right? And 2, it's not done for the protection where you do usual ohel to make it cut. Rather, you're doing it the kavod, and that's going to be a difference. It's going to play into opening up folding chairs and stuff like that. I'm not doing it for this space, but we will see that in due time.
That you learn that you're not allowed to open umbrella.
Umbrella is another whole sugya. No, the Yehuda, Hatam Sofer, they're going back and forth on it. If we have time, we'll get to it today. If not, we'll go through it next time. Let us now look in the next source. Shmirat Shabbat. The way he says it, that they're holding with their hands, and if you hold it with the pole, it'll be a problem. Because then perhaps you are. You still have the other side that you're doing it like kavod, and you're not doing it for the protection. But probably I would suggest you not to put it on a pole, rather hold it with the hand. This way you have this tooth stuff. Okay. Shmirat Shabbat Kilchata, source number 12. Mutar lahosif b'Shabbat of Yom Tov, tosefet ohel arai lo-ohel kayam. You're allowed to add on to a temporary ohel that's already existing. Therefore, if one had a cover spread over a width of at least one tefach from before Shabbat, it's permitted to add to it and spread it out completely, beginning from the side. ויפרוס מן הצד שאכל בו מבעוד יום. כלומר, אותו הצד שבו כבר קיים אוהל של טפח. So if you're spreading it out, you have to continue from the side where it already is. Don't go ahead and start spreading it out from the other side. Spread it out from the side you already have.
Rolling,
Mat.
and you still have more pieces of it. Are you allowed to open it up?
It's already out at
You
tefach,
have more than that.
so it's open to tefach
Yeah,
from before Shabbat.
yeah.
You can spread it out, no problem.
That's why because it's not an issue by the.
If you leave it open to tefach, everyone's going to say it's fine. The question is, if it's less than a tefach, then if you have an awning and stuff like that, we're going to see another opinion, the Hazon Ish, that perhaps you can open it without even having a tefach open. We're going to get to there. But right now, the coming out, a very important yesod here.
יש לך גלגלת.
גלגלת.
עזוב את הגלגלת. תפרוס אותו, על הגג. זה מה שהוא אומר. Okay, no, it's rolling. It's more than a tefach. It's rolling.
Okay. So let's just read here. The Shmirat Shabbat in Chata says,
More than tefach and roll.
I heard from Rav Shlomo.
Rolling tefach.
What did I miss?
On the pump itself is a tefach already.
Right.
That case, the Rav said is you can open it as long as there's a
Right.
tefach on.
Tefach unrolled. No, dafka. Dafka. So it has to be unrolled.
Well, where you get it from?
No, it has to be opened already. It has to be one tefach opened already. Even if it's standing there, sitting there, there's a tefach, it's not enough.
You are saying
No. There might be different opinions on it, but the way I learned it is that it has to be opened already. No, but okay, so let me explain to you. When it's rolled up, it's not considered anything yet. It's still rolled up. It's not put out the ohel. The ohel has to be an actual covering. Right now, I'm just having it bundled up. It's there. It's not a covering. It's just happening to be sitting there rolled up.
The raya that I want to bring is from Shabbat Kirchata, and you say that you can be mosif. Let's say you have a beam. You have a beam that's a tefach. You can be mosif on it, whatever you want. You could
Yeah,
put
I'm
a
gonna-
roll and be mosif to it.
So here, Rabbi Nachshon writes it very clearly. The rolled or folded section of the covering is not considered an ohel. And in order to be able to extend it on Shabbat, one must actually unravel a tefach of the covering before Shabbat. He brings us from the Shulchan Aruch 30:15-12 and the Mishnah Berurah. I didn't look those two sources inside, but that's where he brings it from. And he says it clearly over here that it has to be opened up, unravel it, a tefach.
But this
צריך להיות מזומן
roll
לפתיחה.
already more than a tefach.
Doesn't make a difference. It has to be unraveled.
צריך להיות מזומן לפתיחה.
It has to already be open as a ohel.
ואז אתה יכול
In
להמשיך.
case of the
Em
boat, you said
em lo
that
sagor,
thing is tefach by itself. It's already ohel.
Okay,
No, the same thing is here.
but we're talking about a mat. If there's a beam, that's a beam. That's a tefach. That's an ohel. That's that beam. But if it's rolled up, from my understanding, when you're rolling it up, you're looking at it as not a ohel yet. It's just a rolled up item.
Like this. The roll is right here.
Yeah.
The my
So it's a
sukkah-
mat that's rolled up.
My sukkah starts here,
Yeah.
right? It actually covers already a tefach. It's just in a pipe which is rolled, and it's already covering a tefach. If it be not covered, it's on this side. Let's say over here. There's my how do you call it? Let's say my sukkah doesn't start from here.
So again,
If my sukkah is here,
Again.
and that's the way it starts.
again,
You
so
know what I'm saying?
I hear what
So
you're
if the
saying,
sukkah starts
but that's
here,
not what
then
he's saying over here.
then I would.
He's
not
saying-
agree. Then
he's
I'll
saying
argue.
in order to extend the Shabbat, one must actually unravel a tefach
So
of the cover.
unravel if it's on the side that there is no gag.
No.
Over here there is a gag.
I hear you.
That's
And
what
then
I'm saying.
I hear you. There might be those who say like that way, but that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. Not what he's saying. Yeah, here, Anna, beautiful. Okay. Here, give me this. And the way we're learning it, the Sefer Chaim Olamim, he's writing as follows. If this is sitting on top like
Right.
this,
The
and this is
local.
a tefach
Local.
wide, nothing happens.
Nicht der good, nicht
Nothing
der
happened
good, nicht der good.
So the camera can see.
Nicht der good.
So here. So here it is. Here's your guys up here like this.
Right.
So Vitzion is saying, I have a tefach here. So that's it. It's already
No
good.
good.
And now I can open it up the rest of the way.
Right.
Right.
The Sefer Chayot Amim over here is saying no.
I
He's saying in order for it to be considered an oval is already there,
Has to
it
be
already
open,
has
one
to be
tefach.
open
One
already one
tefach.
tefach.
Yeah.
And then you can open the
From what you're saying, tefach, according to Rabbi Naxon, is over here. So over here,
No.
it's a problem. Then you cannot open it. But if it's here, it's already here. A tefach,
No,
it's already
that's not what
in
he's
the
saying.
bottom.
He's saying it has to be unraveled already. It has to be like this.
Okay, but I understood differently.
It could be unraveled this way too. And see right here. in the
That's
middle.
fine. That's fine. Also.
And then you continue.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to show the camera what
I
I'm talking
thought
about.
if it's unrolled, as long as there's a cover, it doesn't matter. Okay,
No.
fine.
So he's saying it has to be open. Beautiful. I will tell you, this is the best way to learn with examples. Go ahead. Like, you guys come with very handy craft over here. Okay.
Listen, anything you want, he's gonna bring you. If we need more examples, Gabriel is here.
Okay. Fine.
He's a handyman. Only handyman.
He's a professional handyman, not just handyman. What is handyman?
Says, take a look at the Ha'ara Lamed Chet on source 12, page 29. B'shemati me'agonim Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Zecher Tzedek Livracha, that if you're opening up a blanket or something similar, that is one entity. So I'm not adding piece by piece, like Rebbe Chaim said. I have already tefach, and I want to add piece. No, I'm opening up a mat or something that's going to open up all the way, right?
Yeah.
So then one may also begin from the second side, since it's all spread out at one time. So even though I have part of the all over here, and I have now a blanket that I'm going to add to the rest of it, I can open it from this side because it's one big piece. But if one adds a little at a time, right, like you said, I want to add these other pieces in there at a time, then you should start from the side that it's already there, and we'll see it that way.
So in other words, you can't have it in the middle. It's gotta be from the beginning. That's what you're saying?
No, we're not saying that.
So-
It doesn't have to be on the side, but if you have it on one side, you should start from that side.
No, in other words, if you have it
So-
in the middle,
Yeah,
then you
see,
open it
you
like
go both ways.
both sides.
Yeah,
So if you have a tefach over here,
yeah,
then you can open this.
yep,
And you can open
yep, yes.
Yeah,
that.
like.
And it has to be opened a little bit.
It has to be a tefach open. Yes, it has to open the tefach.
Okay.
Okay.
אתה שם באמצע טפח,
כן.
and then you can put one טפח באמצע,
Right.
and then if you want to open in Shabbat.
This way, that way. Okay.
Open, no problem.
Okay.
One side.
It's
one
a
side,
stay
this
rolling.
side, this-
It all depends what the wife
What
will
you need
tell
it
you. Do it this way, this way.
All right, let's take a look at the next section, Abutai. We're on page 30. And this was really the question that Gabriel asked over here. He asked, what about opening up a table and opening up a chair, folding chair?
He said.
Am I not making a ohel underneath it? It's definitely a space of a tefach high. It's a tefach wide.
This is a whole
Okay.
100%. A
Yeah.
table is a whole 100%.
So,
I thought Ohel is-
with ohel under the table? So let's read. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see what the Gemara says. Okay. Oh, Kavalo Yasav and Asa Chayiv Chatat. Continues the Gemara. We already saw the Gemara before, right? So now we see the next part of the Gemara. Avamita, but a bed,
Oh,
the
metal.
kise, and a chair. What type of chair? Kise tarsikal. Tarsikal. This is a folding chair. The asla, a collapsible toilet. Mutar. It's mutar. You're allowed to open them up even lechatchila. So, yeah, everything folding. Location, right? Space. Okay, let's take a look at Rashi. Rashi says a bed which is connected and standing, if it was upright or tilted to its side. So I have a bed. Let's say it's not a folding bed. I have a bed, but I have it up this way, right? I need space, so I put it against the wall. Okay, all right, whatever it is. And it's not yet flat on the ground. It's not horizontal. Now when I put it down, I have a bed and I have space underneath it. And I have a cover now. I made an Ohel, right?
Or Murphy bed.
Right, a Murphy bed, right? Like the wall bed.
Double bed.
it's permitted to set it up right on its legs. And even one thereby creates a tent, it's allowed. And it's only set up for seating. As it's only set up. Okay, why? Says Rashi, because I'm not making an ohel. My whole intention is not to make an ohel. My intention is to be able to lay down or to sit on it, whatever it is. Okay, folding chair. The top part is made of leather. It's folded up. When one folds it, leans against the wall. And when one wants to sit on it, one unfolds it and it's placed on 4 legs. Okay, this toilet, it's also a folding chair. It's just like a collapsible commode. Okay, but the leather spread is over, it has a hole for the use as a toilet. It's permitted to open it on Shabbat since it's already made. Okay, so Rashi said 2 things here. He said, A, my intention is not to make an ohel, and B, it's already made. Meaning, I'm not making something. It's a chair. It just happened to be collapsed, and then you open it. I'm not making a chair. It's a chair. What's the shame of that thing? Bring me the folding chair. I don't say bring me something that I can make into a chair, right? Regarding a chair made of parts, folding parts, you can open it, and the leather opens. And when they wish to remove it, so they close it, and the leather gets folded up. Mutter, you're allowed to open it up lechatchila. What's an alunka?
Yeah, it's a chair.
Chair, okay. Mishnah Berurah in source 16. What does he say? He's looking at that last Rashi that we saw, and he says the ha'avid v'kayim b'oid, since it was already made before Shabbat. Now, what is he doing? Now he's just opening it and sitting on it. He's not making anything. For this reason, you're allowed to stand it up and to remove it. And the same thing is true regarding a shelf. Right? What do you say? Okay, so he's getting into another topic we're not going to get at this moment, but he's saying that when you're building and you're putting the apparently there's a shelf that you can remove it and put it back to the wall. So number one, the Mishnah Berurah said it's already made. Number 2, when it comes to the shelf, I'm putting the shelf. I'm not building it over. I'm making a shelf. Right? I'm putting to be able to put svarim there, and there's no ma'isot. There are no walls there either. So that's another thing that he brought.
The toys for the kids is not already made. It's not already made.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's not?
Lego is not made. Man's house are not made. What do you mean? The whole thing is to make things. The whole game of building. That's not already made. Already made. If I had a toy, no. Pay attention. No. You're confusing. Folding chair. It's all connected. I'm just opening it. This toy is not all connected. They're all separate, and I'm building it. Gonna deal with the umbrella soon. Don't worry about the umbrella. Yes. We'll see. We're not up to the umbrella yet. Okay, take a look at the Yalkut Yosef, source 17, Rabotai. He writes, Mutter, Livtay B'Shabbat Kisei. No, what's that? Noah. Oh, a Mata Mitkafelet. Mitaka Mitkafelet. That's like folding a bed. V'chein Lul Shel Yiladim. Okay, that's a bassinet. V'ein B'zeh Chashash Ohel. There is no concern of Ohel over here. And also you're allowed to open up a baby crib and to place the board upon it. Since the space underneath the crib is not used. Okay, the hu hadin shemuter to the scar, also to close it. The aim is shash stiras oil, and it's nothing to do with.
If you build something with 1 tefach high, and then you put something on it,
right?
You could use the aviation mitachad lezeh 1 tefach.
What do you mean? I'm not.
He said over here,
no.
The lul, you cannot use the avir mitachad.
He says you don't use it.
You don't use it.
So therefore, it's mutar to build it.
This is 1 tefach.
So here,
something on top.
I have
What are you gonna do underneath here?
Let's say someone comes and my niece came, my nephew came, right? And they came with their kid, and the kid needs a place. And I have a bassinet that I have, I took it apart and I put it, it's collapsible. Now I can just take it out. I can uncollapse it, make it spread it out, put the board in, put the mattress in, put the cover in, put the baby inside. Because I'm not creating, my intention is not to create the Ohel. And it's already attached, I can open it.
No, but because the Alkut Yosef is Mosif. Right,
he's giving you the reason.
But if I will have 2 cups over here and put something on top of it.
Yeah, then you made Ohel.
It's oil.
Yep.
But I'm not using that.
I don't care. Don't care.
I'm not using it.
Maybe that'll play a factor in others cases. But right now, from what we saw, that's the difference. When it's an item that's supposed to be used that way, it's not considered making an Ohel.
In the case, let's say, in the hardware store, they sell such a thing that would hold the board. It's like hamok. What is it? Hamok?
Yeah.
But it's like the wood.
And then you put something on top of it.
Another plywood. You need the table.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on top of that. I'm not planning to use the.
Or a bench, or a bench.
It's become a bench.
And that's a regular way of using it.
It's meant for.
I don't know. I have to get back on that. Let me think about it.
You make a table.
What he said right now, I'm understanding that to tell us why is it that I'm not ushering this crib and this, how do you call it, these items, the folding chair.
And the items, these pieces of wood, and another that you have.
Like this, you have two of these.
I never saw somebody.
And none of them are muksa.
No, because you.
You already used it, you didn't, and stuff like that.
Oh, but when you clear the ground again, you don't understand.
The top is from here we learn.
I hear what you're saying. I'm agreeing to it for now, but let me look into it further. I want to know if there's a difference between an item that is intended to be used that way versus a ad hoc. I want to use something that way. Understand? Because it comes out, we're talking about collapsible stuff that were made this way. You're now talking about I'm making an Ohel, but I'm not making it for the Ohel. I'm making it as to make a table. I hear you, but all the cases they've been giving is always it's already together. It's already an item. I'm just opening it. Okay, that's what the Mishnah Berurah said. Take a look at the Mishnah Berurah in source 16 again. The crib is. No, because the crib itself is there. I open it and then I put the wood. No, but that's the way it's used. That's the way it's used. And how are you putting the wood? There's the material there. You're saying there's no material? Okay. Sarachin. I hear you. Sarachin. I'll ask. I'll ask a question this week. Someone can remind me after the shir. I'll try to ask right away. Okay. Shmirat Shabbat Kilchata, source 18, page 32. Okay, you can open up a folding chair, folding beds, folding tables, and cribs because, and his reasoning is, because it's regular to use them this way, open and fold them. And all the parts are connected to one core. You see, so according to it has to be one guf. We're allowed to also close them up. So Shmirat Shabbat Kilchata seems to be saying, like I was saying, it has to be one item. And you just, like the Mishnah Berurah said, and you push it now, you're opening up. And that's okay. And not that it's separate items.
Can children use these as the table?
Yeah, they can play underneath it, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Let's take a look now at the Nodab Yehuda. What happens? The question is, I have a prepared item, right? To have a folding chair and stuff like that. But it also serves to create shade and a protection. Meaning you also use it to create an actual Ohel. So says the Nodab Yehuda. The Nodab Yehuda says, Rashi said you're allowed to put that bed down. Why? Is to sit on it. right? The person not doing anything substantial. Okay, the ein oil el b'mashit tzorich la'aver shetachta. V'ze ein osui la'aver shetachta el to the tuva ba'ama to sit in it. V'ze pasha b'kavanasai. So says the not the Yehuda, says the Rabbi Yehuda that the opening has to be when you open the table or the chair. That has to be your intention. The intention is to use the table and the chair, not to use the space underneath. If it's to use the space underneath, then you're not going to be able to open it, says the Rabbi Yehuda. The Chazon Ish says, no. He says, even it's permitted to open even a folding furnish for use as shade as protection. If it's a collapsible item and it's used for protection, open it. Why? Because it's a collapsible item. It's really there. And you're just opening it and closing it. No, Yudavi says you can't do that. If it's meant to protect underneath, then you can, for example, the stroller. Take a look at the stroller, right? Stroller hood. You have here the stroller hood. Why do you have the canopy for? To protect the child. Then Yudavi would tell you, you can't open it on Shabbat.
Even cover the door.
Even though it's connected, and even though it's created that way, you're creating a shelter. If it's open at tefach already, then it could be more stiff. That's not a problem. We're not talking about closed. No tefach open. Or you have a stroller umbrella. Very good. Some of the strollers have an umbrella on it. According to the Hazon Ish, it's a collapsible item. It's one thing, and you're just opening it. It'd be no problem. The Yudavi would say, no, you can't do that. Why? Because if you're opening it for protection, that's a problem. The only time Rashi said you're allowed to open the item if it's for sitting, for laying down, to eating on it, then it's okay to open the collapsible item because I don't need that space underneath. But if you're using that space underneath, then you can't, says the Nodi Yehuda. Hazon Ish argues.
Double bed, you cannot open it.
What do you mean?
You're a double bed, you open up there, some bed, and a bed.
Bunk bed.
And the double.
Okay.
So you're using the bottom.
But I'm using it for what?
Using it.
I don't care about the top being there.
To sit.
I don't care about the top.
Yeah, you don't care about that.
I just want a bed to sleep on.
But the top one you can sit also.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
No.
No,
לא,
double bed, no?
אחד בתוך השני.
Okay, let's just finish up. We have 2 minutes. Let's just finish up this idea. So says the Ochat Shabbat, permitted to close and open a hinge door like awning on Shabbat. If you have an awning, according to the Hazon Ish, I don't care that it's closed less than a tefach. As long as it's there and it's a collapsible item, it's one item, I can open it on Shabbat. No problem. The reason, since it's awning on its hinges and made to open and close, it's considered as if it's already there. Therefore, someone has an awning of this type, submitted to close and open it. In the case of a rain, no problem. It's permitted to open a covering made from a sheet attached to the hinges on metal corners, even though there is no canopy at all. Since the overhead canopy is attached with hinges, it's made to be open and closed. Okay, it's permissible to open the hood of a stroller, says the Ochat Shabbat. All going with the Hazon Ish. If the item is made to open and close, you can open it and close it on Shabbat. But the Yalkut Yosef does not go this way. The Yalkut Yosef on source 22, page 34. He's machmer on this. Yes, on this item he is. Regarding the hood of a baby stroller, which is a kind of a covering that can extend it's permitted on Shabbat to open it to protect the child, even if it was closed all the way. That it was not extended, right? Again, it has to be open somewhat. Similar to it to close it and fold. The same applies to a small umbrella. But some disagree. V'tov v'nachon lahachmir. Liftoach et hagagan me'erev Shabbat b'shir tefach. You have to actually open it, a shear of a tefach, V'shat shechayzer, and when you're closing it again, nochal lahachmir, to not close it all the way, you shear tefach, you can open it again and close. So you see again, it has to be opened, right? Mashma. You have to actually open, not that it's just there, and it has to open the tefach. So here you have a machloket, the Noda B'Yehuda and the Hazon Ish, and the Yalkut Yosef goes with the Noda B'Yehuda, that what? It has to be a somewhat tefach open in order for it to be mosif to be able to add to it. But the chidush of the Hazon Ish and the Ochat Shabbat is, according to some Ashkenazim, you don't need it to be open at tefach. As long as the item is a collapsible item, it opens, it closes, that's the way it's meant to be. No tefach open, I can open it and close it. So if you have your awning and you didn't open it at tefach, get your Ashkenaz neighbor to come and open it for you, and bayad, they go with the Hazon Ish. Okay. Okay, רבותיי, המניין, בי חנן וקשה אומר, עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא, איזה גוי יישא, בי כרכיב במתור מצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגיד תורה וידיר.